Hello and welcome everyone to Redstone Radio, a Dead by Daylight podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Madison, and I'm joined by one of my wonderful co-hosts, Stevie.
Hello.
It's been a hot
Hello. I'm back.
second. It's
I was
been
never I was never gone.
yeah. You were here every single episode. You never missed one. Never, ever missed an episode.
And Bryson's just gonna be quiet the whole episode.
Yeah,
here
he
too.
was
He was just
feeling a
quiet.
little like hush
He was
hush, and we're like, that's fair. Not everyone loves our favorite twink. Not everyone loves the favorite twink.
yeah.
Yeah, or I think
Bryson
how you
hates
said
Dwight.
it, the skittish twink.
Yeah, everyone's favorite skittish twink.
Skittish twink, yeah. This is episode 54, where we'll be looking over one of the four original survivors, Dwight Fairfield, and his lore specifically. Considered by many as the poster boy for survivors, Dwight is often characterized as a dweeb who hides in lockers and is afraid of even his own shadow. But how true really is this characterization when we delve into his lore? What do you think, Stevie?
It's all true. Everything you've heard about Dwight is probably true in some form.
Yeah.
And if it's exaggerated, probably for good reason. Dwight's kind of seen a lot of changes to his lore, so I'd like to think that it's all still piled up.
Yeah. Before we delve into that, though, we have a little bit of news. We got the content roadmap for the rest of this month and I believe August. We're not going to be going over all of it because there's quite a few things that are interesting. But the one most noteworthy thing is the summer event that they showed in the year 10 roadmap. Specifically, it said there were going to be 3 game modes, which is interesting. And these are reiterations of the same game modes that we've had. That being Chaos Shuffle, Lights Out, and Chaos Modifier. I believe that was it. Lights Out, Chaos Modifier, and... oh my god, I'm blanking. It's not 2v8. What was the first one? Oh, I'm such a child.
There was a third one?
It could be 2v8. It could be 2v8.
You thinking 2v8?
It was Lights Out, the Chaos Shuffle, and then a third one. And I'm going to pretend it's 2v8. We're going to look really quickly. Let's just cut this part out. We're all like,
Unless that third one was actually just the Black Banquet, and then that's kind of a third.
Let me pull up the roadmap for
the roadmap really only says Chaos Shuffle and Black Banquet.
Oh, sorry. You're going to have to stare at my boobs for a second. Boom, boom. July roadmap, here it is. God, enhance. 2v8. It was 2v8. So it's Lights Out, 2v8, Chaos Shuffle.
And that's it.
Alright, this is where we cut it. This is where we recut. So in the summer event, we'll have Chaos Shuffle, 2v8, and Lights Out. So we're going to be seeing some reiterations of those events. And the event is only 3 weeks. So basically we're going to get a game mode a week. How do we feel about that, Stevie?
No, that's all right. I think that works. They noticed that summer's like their lower period. People have other games. People are doing other things. Yeah. DVDs are not super popular. Just throwing events at us. Throwing game modes. People can probably just tune in for their favorite.
Yeah. Especially after the Black Banquet. Oh.
Yeah, no, that one's I'm not sure people want to see that one as another game mode again.
Yeah. We might see her go bye-bye. Maybe Trix will come back and be like, "What's up, bitches? Heard you hate the last event." So did I.
Who's to say, right? Like, if we just get Chaos Shuffle and 2v8 for the rest of our lives, could we be that mad?
Not really. I like Chaos Shuffle. It makes me happy. I like having
everyone else likes 2v8.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
So, like, an anniversary event, it can kind of go away while we revisit all the other fun ones that are still hooked up.
Yeah. Additionally, we also got some news on the Grimoire with the last couple of updates. We got a lot of stuff revealed, but the main stuff I would say is that we got the final viewing, or not the final, but close to one of the final viewings of the lobby that will be coming out with the chapter Course of Sin, and it looks really cool. Kind of like a Greek courtyard, kind of like Olympus, I would say, kind of, but it's like degraded. It's very bright, but it's also kind of haunting. We also got a little hint on Twitter, I believe, of the killer sniping somebody from across the map with her power, and you can actually listen to the 16/18 meter, I think, of the Terror Radius music, and it sounds good. It's got like some chanting. It's got a chorus of sin, and it sounds just really cool. They also did some touch ups on her powers to make it look more fleshed out and to avoid some of the problems some people may have, like typophobia. So there's not going to be a lot of dots or extreme jagged edges when someone has a lot of sin and they got that little effect around their head. And they also adjusted her power, so it's a lot faster and shoots it a lot more direct after you charge it up with that light pillar. And the final thing they showed off is that Aurora has basically her character model done, and she looks great. And they didn't try to de-age her. She looks old, and I love that. Thank God.
It's
Thoughts
amazing.
on
She looks
the
like Bill in a wig, but like in the best way.
exactly old people unite.
And I'm a big fan of what they've done with the Judgment. It's really fun to see like how a killer gets baked like under the hood, and
Yes,
it's so simple, and it makes me kind of appreciate like just how many people go into making one killer and how many ideas I can see like just piled onto one little skeleton, like just the way the hands move, the way the effects are. There's people working on so many parts of it, and at this point I'm excited. I'm
me too.
super excited to see this just come out fully baked.
I'm so excited.
Fully baked.
Honestly, if it weren't for the casting of Frank Stone, I think this would be my number one most anticipated chapter. I'd say right now it's like Frank Stone, this chapter, Terrifier, and then the one I forgot about.
No,
I'm
that's
so sorry.
fair.
What was the fourth chapter? Was it Jason? No, it's not Jason. Who was the fourth one? I can't remember.
What? Yeah, what did they tease? I'm forgetting too. I mean, I know that there's collabs for like Diablo, there's
Yeah.
collabs for Scooby Doo, but those aren't killers.
No, no. But you understand. I'm just really hyped for Chorus of
Yes.
Men. It's our next chapter, and we're getting that relatively soon because I believe we're getting PTB in August, and then it comes out in September. So we're
Yeah,
getting
yeah,
there.
sooner than I would imagine. I was always
Yeah.
thinking something like this would take forever. So that's why seeing it put together this quickly,
It's like,
surprising.
whoa, she's ready. She's out of the oven. She's here. She's here. And with that, we're also here at the actual topic of the episode, Dwight Fairfield's lore. So, what do you know about Dwight Fairfield? Just right off the bat, what do you know about him, the poster boy?
Right, right. Dwight Fairfield, he works in an office and there's not much else, right? I
Yeah,
couldn't tell you if he has family. I couldn't tell you what like city he's supposed to be from. Is he Canadian? Is he
he
from
is
the US?
American, I believe.
Yeah, sure. But like I I think he's supposed to be Canadian because like the dev team's Canadian, but like is he from Minnesota? Is he from
No,
Ontario? So
no.
like there's still questions like this that like exist 10 years later. I don't think he's meant to be more than like a little kind of blank slate, kind of.
Yeah, I
But
think
like what
the
about him like cuz I don't know too much. I in my head I keep it pretty vague. I don't dive into him. I
yeah.
know he's gay, but like
Well, the things that we do know about him before the tomes was basically nothing. We knew that he had a job he did not like, he was a dweeb, and he was left to die, basically. That's all we knew about him. And then the second half of his lore was basically, oh, Dwight is trying to be a leader, but he fails at everything. We'll get into that actually later in this episode. But Dwight's basically kind of a loser, and that's basically what he has been for a long time, up until Tome 3 Escalation, where he was one of the two main characters of that tome where they actually got to explore his lore. And dare I say, I really like the direction they took him in because I felt like they did really good job at looking at the pros of him, like the good things about him, but also the bad things, the really gross parts of Dwight Fairfield, which you don't think you would be hearing about. But I'm really excited to delve into that today and sort of kind of look at the twisted little guy, the fucked up little guy, because that's what he is. He's a fucked up little guy. Like he's
I
not
agree.
fucked up. Like he's not like Jonah who inexplicably slash unknowingly helped bomb a bunch of people. But he definitely does some morally questionable things in his lore, especially specifically in Tome 3. And yeah, I'm just really excited to get into that and kind of to get to know more about Dwight. So normally I go over the history of Dwight or the survivor or killer that we're looking at in a lore episode. But today I'm just gonna keep it really simple. He came out when the game did. He was one of the first four original survivors and has basically been unchanged design wise, maybe some minor things with his hair color, but besides that, he's always just been him. And I think that's kind of iconic. Like, he's always been Dwight Fairfield. He's always been the loser, but he's a leader. He's our leader. Loser, leader. Boom. Put that on a t shirt.
Well, it's fun because he's like I joked about it, but that's always been his characterization from the beginning. And I think it's a nice consistency. I think it's a good mix of like, what do you mean this guy's supposed to be a leader? Every time I see him, he's biting his nails and hiding in lockers. He couldn't lead
Yeah.
anyone. So it gives you this like questioning in your head, like, what is this guy's story? And then you read the story and it's like Dwight was left alone in a forest when his boss
Yeah.
kicked him out of the car.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Wow.
okay, this guy's been through some shit. Why is he a failed leader, right? How does this guy keep getting set up for failure? What's
Yeah.
happened to you, Dwight?
Yeah. Yeah. I also find really interesting about his lore that we'll get into is that there's kind of small aspects of the trials that kind of are incorporated in his day-to-day life, kind of in this position where he's powerless and he tries to get power back from the ones who's trying to abuse him. And I think that's really interesting, especially since it's in a workplace scenario. So I'm really looking forward to getting into that. But before we can get into that juicy bits, we gotta go through the kind of ass bits, which is his base lore, which is a paragraph, like maybe two paragraphs if we're being generous. It's fucking short. So we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna turn off my camera because I don't like reading with my camera on because it makes me feel like a dweeb. And then we're gonna have thoughts and feelings after that. So yes,
Yeah,
base
this is
lore.
the basic lore for Dwight. This
Yeah,
has
what
been
he came out with.
changed a couple times, but it's close to what he came out with.
All right. Mm-hmm. Dwight was geeky and scrawny through high school. He always wanted to be one of the cool kids, but somehow never had the charisma. He tried out for the football team but was cut. The basketball team didn't even take a look, and his grades were distinctly below average. One weekend, on a team building exercise from his dead end job, Dwight's boss led them deep into the woods before breaking out his family recipe moonshine. Dwight remembered taking the first sip before waking up late the next morning all alone. During the night, the others had abandoned him. Once again, the laughing stock of the community, Dwight tried to hike his way out of the woods. That was the last anyone ever heard of Dwight Fairfield. Dwight isn't the typical guy you think of when someone says survivor. He lacks that certain pizzazz, and without his glasses, he's more or less blind. But as the sun sets and the woods come alive, Dwight clasps to his rat race life, making sure that he'll live to see another day, even though something unimaginable is after him. Dwight won't stop. He'll survive no matter what. As others spent hours being seen in high school, he spent hours becoming invisible and avoiding danger. And it doesn't matter if it's dangers in the hallway or dangers in the woods. Survival is key. As other employees panic when terror infects them, Dwight makes use of his disturbing teen experience. The tables have now turned, and now others need to follow to Dwight's firm directions if they are to survive, as he knows how to disappear. So, like, safe to say, very basic, very nothing burger.
Oh, very.
Very, very nothing burger. And I think that was okay for the time it came out because this was base game when the game first launched with the four survivors and three killers. This is all they had. And I think that's fine, honestly. It didn't need to be amazing, especially when they expected this game to only be a few months and then die. That's kind of extraordinary it lasted this long. So obviously the lore was made with that in mind.
Exactly. You're supposed to like see yourself in this character. You're supposed to look at Dwight and say like, well, okay, what about him makes him unique and something I couldn't attach myself to? And it's all something that you could see yourself in. You have a dead-end job and
Yeah.
your coworkers hate you and company retreats are scary and getting lost in the woods sucks and I had a bad time at school, but it made me stronger and it gave me
Mhm.
my character. So like Dwight's pretty much got it if you're thinking like protagonist.
Yeah. Basically, twin. He is you. You understand him. He
But
understands
I think
you.
the key part, I think the part that we like the most is that in the fog this changes. In the fog he's a leader now. In the
Hmm.
fog where he learned to hide and like run away from people, now that makes him the best. Now
Yeah.
everyone's scared of Dwight when they load into a lobby because he's either going to be the juicer or the one who lets you down.
Yeah.
So Dwight now has a reputation in the fog that has exceeded anything he could imagine for himself, but he doesn't know it too. And that's the tragic part. I
Hmm.
think that's the sad part is that he doesn't know how strong he is to all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Dwight, pick yourself up. You got this. Believe in yourself. But no,
Exactly.
he's like, oh, I gotta hide in the locker now. Oh
Oh,
shit.
jeez, David. I'm
Oh
worried.
jeez, David. Oh.
I can't wait for voice lines.
Oh yeah, bro. Hearing his voice is gonna be so weird in like a year when he's like, "Oh God, is that the killer?" Like, who?
He's
Who let
behind
you
me, isn't he?
speak? Why is he speaking? So that's gonna be really interesting when that happens. But now that we kind of got through his base lore, we got a little glimpse into what he was basically in his life. He was a dweeb, yes, but also there was a little bit of like introspection, not introspection, but like a glimpse into his work life and how basically everyone hates him at work and even his boss doesn't give a fuck about him, which leads you to ask, what the fuck happened at work that made everyone hate him? And thankfully, we actually got an answer to that and get to delve a little bit deeper into that, especially his work life and how he's viewed basically as a person. So I'm really excited to look at that. Tome free escalation, also known as a story by any other name. Are you excited for this? Any thoughts
Oh, I'm
before we
into
get
it.
into that?
I want to see it. I want to see it.
You want to see it? You want to see it? Don't worry, it's gonna be
This was a
amazing.
good time back when the early tomes were really trying to flesh out stuff that had like been needing it.
Exactly. I am gonna warn you. This is kind of long. This is kind of long. So
I'm packed in. I'm packed in.
lie
I'm locked
back,
in.
pop a bag of candy, and chill. Yeah, these are gummy summer drinks, and they look very sticky. I don't know why I bought these, but they were $1, so
Give
doesn't
me
hurt to
some.
try. Also, listen to that. A little bit of ASMR before we get into the story. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Listen to that crinkle.
Oh, actually, yeah, yeah. We're an ASMR channel now. Yeah.
I've only got the right earbud in, so that was really good for me.
Yeah. All right, let's get into that. Let's get into the story. AK wrong button. Let's get into that story. Dwight Fairfield, a story by any other name. Mhm. Memory 2112. Lazar approaches Dwight and slams his desk. Max didn't work out. He was a weak male I just wanted to crush. Fear, anxiety, confusion. Dwight feels them all. How is this guy the CEO? More than that, he wanted to crush the employee he's replacing for being a weak male. Dwight doesn't even know what that means. Weak male? Who talks like that in this day and age? His hands fidget nervously. He swallows a growing lump in his throat. Lazar smashes his desk again. I need you to be bolder than him, Dwitch. I need you to get the buzz out there that we're the best company in the business. Did he just call me a Dwitch? Dwitch? He just called me Dwitch! Dwight's still not sure what he's supposed to be doing at Peak 22. He's a story hook supervisor. He has no idea what that is. Sounds convoluted and made up. Sounds like bullshit. He took the job because he needs the money, and he can't dress up in costumes for birthday parties anymore. Kids can be so cruel. He's supposed to create fake profiles and write positive reviews about Lazar and his company. Lazar gives his desk another thump. Be a lion, Dwitch. Pounce on the internet. Pounce! Get the word out. Peak 22. We design story hooks for ads that transcend humanity. Dwight has no idea what that means. Lazar leaves a test on his desk and walks away. Dwight stares at the test, unsure. Rose, the manager who hired him, approaches him and explains it's an intelligence test. Lazar wants to make sure he's the smartest in his company. Best advice? Flunk it. Dwight smiles. Gotcha. Memory 2113. Our thing is story hook advertising. Dwight cringes every time he hears story hook. Lazar's trying to be different just to be different. Most advertisements use stories to wrap a message and emotion. Just because you call it a story hook doesn't mean it's new, doesn't mean it's different. Story hook is a term used by high school English teachers. Rose laughs. Yes, but Lazar's an idiot, and he wants to feel like he created his own theory for his upcoming book. Dwight's eyes go wide. Book? What book? Rose laughs absurdly and explains, an autobiographic book, a guaranteed bestseller highlighting Lazar's new theory on creativity. But Lazar hasn't done anything yet. It's all smoke and mirrors. Rose laughs and corrects him. He's done one thing really well. He's burned through millions. Rose changes the subject and tells Dwight he needs to meet Lazar's ghostwriter for an interview. Make sure to shower praises about our naked emperor for his autobiography. Memory 2114. Dwight approaches Rose. She isn't her usual jolly self. Dry tears line her cheek and her eyes are swollen. She tells him Lazar embarrassed her at a meeting when she refused to go along with his jokes at the expense of the sound designer's speech impediment. He humiliated her for not going along with his stuttering oppression. Rose sighs and advises Dwight to record all meetings with the Naked Emperor. Not just for legal reasons, but for the yearly roast. Dwight raises his eyebrows curiously. Yearly roast? What yearly roast? She tells him about a yearly gathering of ex-employees who get together to laugh at Lazar's stupidities. Dwight tilts his head. He's really confused. In his mind, Peak 22 just opened its doors. How long has Peak 22 existed? Rose calculated it on her hands. 5 years. Dwight can't believe his ears. 5 years and Peak 22 has nothing. Rose smirks. Correction, 5 years and we almost have Lazar's biography and his theory on creativity. Memory 2115. Dwight showers Lazar with online praise using fake profiles. It's the coziest job he's ever had. As he prepares to create another false profile, he suddenly hears shouts coming from Lazar's office. He freezes as Lazar verbally assaults the Peak 22 lawyer. The lawyer is telling him Storyhook can't be registered. It's a concept in many high school textbooks. Lazar fires the lawyer on the spot. The lawyer promises he'll sue. Lazar doesn't care. He'll settle. He'll always settle. It isn't his money, and Dwight's heard he's gotten his benefactors eating out of the palm of his hands. He's already settled dozens of wrongful dismisses. Rose attempts to calm down Lazar, but he screams at her to mind her business. Dwight wants to help her, but he's never made so much money doing so little before. He likes making money doing nothing, but his hands are fidgeting and his palms are getting damp and clammy. Hearing Lazar verbally abuse Rose is difficult to bear. He imagines all kinds of scenarios where he leaps from his desk to help her. Nervousness fills his bladder, and he leaps from his chair and rushes to the bathroom. Memory 2116. The Brilliant Mind Incorporated. Lazar announces the title of his autobiography to the entire office. It feels like a joke, a bad joke, but it's not, and the studio is trying not to laugh at their naked emperor. Lazar hasn't done anything in the 5 years since he's convinced a bunch of millionaires in his Storyhook revolution. He doesn't even have one successful advertising campaign. They had a few clients in the beginning, but Lazar wanted to write and direct the commercials himself, made a mess of everything. Dwight suppresses a laugh. Rose claps when Lazar concludes his presentation. Amazing! Paradigm changing! How gracious of you to share the secrets of your success with the world! Everyone gets her sarcasm except Lazar. That's the thing about narcissists. They believe their own press release. Lazar turns his attention to Dwight. Dwight, what do you think? Dwight suddenly feels blood drain from his face. He echoes Rose. Amazing. Paradigm changing. How gracious of you to share the secrets of your success with the world. Lazar smiles. It's not about ego, Dwight. It's about community and selflessness. Memory 2117. Lazar screams at Rose because she can't find a publisher for the Brilliant Mind Incorporated. Peak 22 has done nothing, and creating campaigns with a story hook isn't really paradigm changing. The publisher thinks he's an idiot. What is he saying story hook when he means story? Ads with a story. A story with a story hook. Rose calms Lazar down. She suggests that they should self-publish. The idea silences Lazar. You're right. You're absolutely right. The publishing world isn't ready for my visionary ideas. Dwight sighs and finds it harder and harder to listen to his bullshit. Peak 22 is going nowhere fast. The company is having a hard time finding clients and recruiting with all the rumors of abuse. Lazar announces he has a solution for recruitment. He'll write a story hook recruitment campaign to attract the best employees. Hundreds will apply. Thousands. Dwight doesn't understand. For what? Dwight still isn't sure if Peak 22 does anything other than enable a narcissist to do whatever he wants to whomever he wants. Memory 2118. Lazar is spreading rumors about Rose. Dwight consoles her, but she's inconsolable. She says it's a pattern. His pattern. He discredits, destroys, and demolishes an employee before he fires them. He spreads the rumor he later uses to fire the person. Dwight says she's exaggerating. Rose shakes her head. Lazar's in trouble. He just spent more money on a 1-minute ad campaign for Peak 22 than a Hollywood blockbuster, and his investors want answers. He needs a fall girl, someone to blame for the mismanagement of company funds. Dwight doesn't understand. She explains that Lazar's already left a trail of blood in his wake. The last 3 women in her position were all promoted and fired for Lazar's excesses and stupidities. Lazar has an upcoming meeting with his investors. She will be this year's patsy. Dwight gives her a skeptical look. She shakes her head. You'll see. He spends the money, a woman takes the fall. That's Lazar's idea of equal opportunity. Memory 2119. Dwight stares in disbelief as Lazar asks Rose to present the advantages of Storyhook advertising at an all-hands meeting. He interrupts her on every slide in front of everyone, then cancels the meeting. He acts as though it's the first time he sees Rose's deck. He announces Rose has no idea what a Storyhook is. Everyone leaves the cafeteria feeling bad for her, grumbling that no one knows what he means by Storyhook, or how stupid he is for using a contrived term that just means story. Dwight doesn't understand because she validated every slide in her deck with Lazar. He heard them agree. Before Dwight can talk to her, she is fired and escorted out of Peak 22. Dwight watches his friend, a single mother, walk out. This year's patsy for Lazar's excesses. He siphons the investment money and his friend gets the boot. The whole meeting was a setup to discredit her in front of everyone. Lazar approaches Dwight. Sorry, Dwight. I know Rose was your manager, but I had to let her go. She wasn't aligned with our company values. Dwight stares at Lazar in mingled shock and horror. What values? He wants to scream at Lazar. He wants to grab his ears and rip them out of his narcissistic head. Instead, he nods and silently prays there is justice in the world. Memory 2120. Dwight listens in disbelief to stories of Lazar. Real-life horror stories. Stories that defy reason for this day and age. It's a yearly ritual for those who have had the misfortune to work with Lazar. They've all gathered to watch the leaked Peak 22 recruitment video. Dozens of people, each wearing a white Peak 22 t-shirt with a ridiculous Lazar quote they scribbled on with white marker. White marker? With marker, blah. One of them worked with Lazar at a production company where he tried to produce a terrible web series he wrote. It's about an alien computer that takes over the world and controls its inhabitants with a matrix that simulates reality. No one told him he just pitched the premise of a major blockbuster film. She imitates Lazar selling his web series. It's different. It's unique. It's not horror. It's not sci-fi. It's terror. Sheer terror. It's a new genre. It's simulated terror. Lazar believed he had created the next big genre like cosmic horror. The writer shows a book written by Lazar, Simulated Terror. Guidelines for writers in his new genre. They all burst out laughing. Dwight laughs so hard it hurts. Who says story hook when they mean story? Or stimulated terror when they mean sci-fi? The stories of the Naked Emperor continue throughout the night, and Dwight is convinced there is no justice. Peak 22's ex-story hook supervisor talks about how Lazar called him a weak male for not wanting to cyberbully a blogger for using the term story hook. He tells them about a harmless drug that makes people laugh absurdly at every little sound. He says if he was still working at Peak 22, he'd give Lazar a little taste of his own medicine. Others agree. That would be hilarious. Dwight likes the idea. Likes it a lot. It might be that justice works in mysterious ways. He approaches Max. Tell me more about this harmless drug. And now for the final memory, memory 2121. Max hands Dwight a mix of his laughing drug. It will make him giggle and laugh so much he'll piss his pants. Pour it in his coffee right before his meeting, and you'll have a story hook unlike any other for next year's roast. Dwight smiles. He feels his heart pounding in his chest. Rose will have justice. Everyone will. Dwight will teach this abuser, and that sometimes the little guy bites back. Inspired, he asks one of his colleagues to distract Lazar while he spikes his coffee. Another colleague listens to the plan and shakes her head skeptically. She isn't sure. She doesn't like this prank and cautions Dwight to think things through. I've got 2 kids, she says, and the last thing I want is for the investors to close down shop because he hallucinates or hurts someone. Dwight laughs. Don't worry, the most that will happen is he'll act like a donkey. Dwight lifts his chin proudly and reassures her no one will get hurt. He places his hand on her shoulder and feels like the leader he always knew he'd be. Nothing bad will happen, or my name isn't Dwight. Now, would you believe me if I said that that didn't happen? Something dangerous happened? Perhaps
Oh,
maybe he
oh,
didn't just laugh. Maybe he had
yeah.
a bit of hallucination and started assaulting one of his colleagues.
Crazy style. And
Yeah,
I'm
crazy
pretty sure,
style.
yeah. You can all watch that in the Tome 3, A Story by Any Other Name video.
Yes. Escalation also. Mhm.
Escalation. Yep.
Yeah, but
Tome 3,
basically,
Escalation.
Dwight drinks the coffee. He goes crazy during a meeting, and he starts strangling one of his potential clients. And let's just say that's kind of film wrapped, as some would say. Yeah. So yeah, thoughts on that, Stevie? On Tome 3 Escalation, a story by any other name.
I mean, I'm into it. It shows that Dwight is somebody who wants to be strong and conniving, but like he needs others to encourage him to do things, and
Yeah,
ultimately he doesn't know correctly how to deal with authority in the right moments, and
exactly.
he's a weakling. He might be that weak male his boss was so worried about. It might be right
Yeah.
under Laser's nose.
Yeah, but I think what's most interesting about this story is kind of like the introspection of like power structure, I would say, and where people in a
Yes.
society are forced to be. Not because, oh, it's the right thing, but because those in power just want to be stronger than everyone. And we see this kind of interesting reflection between Lazar and Dwight. Dwight, without doing anything, without trying to fight back, sort of seals his own fate, but also reinforces this power structure with Lazar, where he's letting women, specifically Rose, get hurt by Lazar. And he even says, or Rose says specifically, she's going to be the third woman who got promoted, then fired, to be sort of like the scapegoat, the patty. And I think that's crazy that we get to learn this kind of like power structure and we get this like introspection and what is a leader and how often those in power kind of abuse those under them. And it's fucking Dwight Fairfield's lore. Like, are we dead ass?
And that's what I'm gonna circle back to. Like, he's supposed to be the insert. You're supposed to see yourself in him because, like, that's exactly what working at like a restaurant or a startup or like any of these smaller businesses where it's fueled by a ton of big capital at the top, where it's literally sometimes just a guy who's bored and wants to pay people to stand around and glaze him. So
Yeah.
this is exactly what it's like.
And oftentimes, like Lazar in the story, they're dangerous people. And specifically, they are dangerous men. I'm sorry, we're going to be sorry to step on toes, but let's be honest. A lot of those in power are men who are not only very rude, narcissistic, but often abuse those who are not straight white men. Let's just be honest here. And I think that's really interesting that we can see that specifically for the gender lens with Dwight. And I think that's really interesting because Dwight sort of enables that behavior. He pushes off Rose's comments in the story, saying that's not going to happen to you. You're over looking this, or not overlooking, but sort of like making something out of a nothing burger to Rose. And then when she ultimately gets fired, he's shocked. Like, Dwight, you're participating in the system. You're not helping.
Exactly.
You're an issue. And I just think that's really interesting with how they did that in fucking Dead by Daylight Dwight lore. They took a strong look at power structure and gender. I did not expect that when I read it the first time.
And it doesn't show Dwight as like super smart or anything, but it
No.
does show him as like willing to just be on the right side, but he's always going to take the easy path.
Yeah.
He's never going to stand up for like himself or other
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah.
it's a little hard to look at him and be like, I should put all my stake in this guy.
Yeah. He takes the easy way out, I would say. Like, he always goes for the easiest path rather than the hardest, obviously.
Like, I'll be
He's very
real, he
much like,
feels to me like the protagonist of a stoner comedy. Like if
yes.
you've
Oh
ever
my
seen
God.
Grandma's Boy, or if you've ever
No.
seen Office Space,
I've seen
or
Smiley
like
Face, if that counts.
I've never seen Smiley Face.
Oh my God. See Smiley Face. I can't remember who was in it, but it has like some random celebrities you didn't think would be in it. Like, Jane Lynch is in that movie.
Oh, she's in so much good shit.
Yeah, go watch. I don't know if I should say go watch Smiley Face.
Mood?
It's kind of ass, but it's also kind of fun. It's a stoner comedy, so if you like that, you might like Smiley Face.
Oh, this is okay. Okay, this is like actual. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, we're not talking about Smiley Face. We're talking about Dwight. Maybe Dwight needs
Yeah.
maybe Dwight
But
needs
if
some
like
like
if you imagine, yeah,
marijuana.
any character of a guy who works at a dead end office job, and Dwight feels like if we took that guy and threw him through the Play-Doh mold, and then we squeezed out a new one.
Yeah. Before we kind of talk more about Dwight lore, we actually have some observer logs that we can go over. Two I think are pretty important, and one's more funny. But I'm going to read all three of them just because it adds more to his lore. Specifically, Tome 3 Arcus 723 and Tome 18 Arcus 732. So I'm going to get right
And
into that.
so this
Really.
is from the perspective of the observer. I forget, is he Benedict Baker,
No,
or
no,
is that no? Okay,
that's
separate
the
guy.
observer. Just the observer. We don't. I don't. I think he has a name. I don't remember it, but he's not Benedict Barker. He's not Figo.
Well, yeah,
He's like
okay.
he's his own guy. We're gonna read those really quick. I keep muting myself. It's camera. There we go. Tome 3, Arcus 723. I pity Dwight. It's as though every action he takes brings the opposite of what he intends. Trying to help his fellow employees from an abuser, he ends up shutting down the entire operation, leaving many in a far worse situation than they were in. Granted, spiking a narcissist's drink and watching him unravel was worth the price of admission. The many memories of survivors struggling with narcissists have led me to the conclusion that there are only three possibilities when relating to a narcissist: enable them, run away from them, or destroy them. But beware, narcissists take everyone with them when they go down. All right, we're going to read the second interesting one. Tome 18, Arcus 732. A lawyer offers Dwight millions to settle with the company. He tells them that he'll settle if he gets a letter of apology for hiring and enabling a known abuser. They scoff at their request. They would rather give millions of dollars than apologize. Dwight turns down the offer, and I must admit that is something I didn't expect from him. But then again, so many characters I've studied over the years have, to one degree or another, contradicted my initial impression of them. I guess that's what makes them human. The contradictions. Dwight probably should have just taken the money and ran. That way he wouldn't have had to endure all of those menial jobs throughout his life. But then again, there would be no elephant incident at the zoo, nor would there be the coyote incident when he worked as a roadkill collector, or even the incident driving the limousine across the country for that metal band. Come to think of it, I'm glad Dwight didn't take the money. I have found his memories amusing, if not entertaining. And now here's for the real crazy one, the real straight up, I guess not warning, but this is not related to the Dwight we know. This is an alternate universe Dwight. AKA, this is called Tome 6, Notes from the Absurd, Emperor Dwight. Ha! Bubblegum tuna on Tuesday. Sir Regal Dwight, in a ticklish purple robe and golden crownie, steps out onto the courtyard and greets all the peasants with good words and pizza. The kingdom cheers and roars. So yeah, there's a universe out there where Dwight's a king and gives a bunch of junk food away. Crazy. Well, let's pay more
And
attention to Tome 18 and Tome 3 artist entries.
yes, yeah, we can consider those as like extensions of the what we've read in the other previous lore. But
Yeah,
part of me wants to say it's like also an alternate universe where he still exists and he still gets to live his life and he was never
yeah.
taken.
Yeah, but it's a little unclear whether that is the case or if it's the same Dwight. But I do think what the Observer says about him is really interesting. He always tries to do the good thing, but he always messes it up. He's always gonna flub it, and I think that's really tragic. Because like he used to be enabling in his job, but then when he realized it was actually affecting people that what Rose said was true, he felt guilty. He wanted to get revenge for everyone, not just Rose, but all the people who got axed by Lazar in Peak 22. So, for that note, I feel kind of sympathy for him. I feel bad for the little guy, the little rubber little guy. Sad little man. Oh my god.
It's true. He kind of just puts himself in the saddest position, but it's like contrived enough that it feels like it's kind of just his character to be
Yeah.
misfortunate.
Yeah, and I just really want to quickly add, I'm looking forward to the new map coming out in December because that has been directly confirmed to be related to one of Dwight's traumas. So I'm really interested how that's going to connect to him because a lot of his lore is focusing on his jobs and how he keeps flubbing it, like the limousine, roadkill collector, the zoo, the office job, and it kind of makes you think in his base lore when he gets abandoned by his boss. That's obviously not Lazar. I would say Lazar is a key component of his like backstory, but this is not the same boss. So it makes me think, who is this boss? Who are these employees? Because we keep seeing all these various jobs where he fucks up, but what was the one where he was abandoned at? What caused people in that job specifically to flub, for him to flub up, and for everyone to be like, you know what, Dwight? You should kill yourself. You should die in the woods.
Go to
Like,
the woods.
go to
Teleport to
the
the woods
woods.
now. To
Go
the
to the
woods
woods
with me.
now. Go to, to the woods with you. Can we make that say? I love that. I want to make that a new catchphrase. Go to the woods. The woods with you now. Go to
Oh,
the
I need
woods.
to. There is a comic already. I'll post it. Go to the woods.
Go to the woods. Go to the woods. Go to the woods now. But I'm just really interested in how that is going to be explained, and I'm hoping the map kind of looks at that in one of his traumas. But I'm kind of sad because I think it's going to be something unrelated. Like one time at the mall, Dwight worked as like a mall cop, and then he peed his pants, and everyone laughed, and that's going to be the lore. No, I need it to be traumatic and related to his last job where he gets abandoned in the woods. Go to the woods. Go to the woods. I'm gonna stop saying it, but that's fun to say. That's a new that's a new fun thing to say. Go to the woods. Go to the woods.
Teleport to the woods. The woods.
Teleport to the woods. Go to the woods.
No,
What
don't
do
worry.
you?
I'm sending it so you'll have the reference. Everyone will know what we're talking about after we're done talking about it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, God, I just think if Bryson doesn't see where if we send this group chat with Bryson, he's gonna be like, "What the fuck are they talking about the woods? Why are they going to the
No,
woods?
that's fine. That's
Go to
fine.
the woods."
That's Dwight's lore, and I mean, like, we don't know exactly when it happened, and we don't know who did it, but
Cool.
like, yeah, like the funny part is that like all of his jobs blow up in his face. I
Yeah,
don't
he's
think
always gonna fuck up.
roadkill collector is something that should have something go wrong. You know what I mean? I cannot imagine a scenario where roadkill collector has a day where it's not the same.
Yeah, yeah. But like the coyote
Zoo, I could
incident,
see
the
an elephant incident
elephant.
happening,
Yeah,
like 1 in a million. But
yeah.
like
He
that's
definitely
Dwight.
let that elephant loose by accident, and it just trampled for the zoo grounds. Like that definitely happened. But I am really interested to learn more about Dwight because if there's one critique I can give to Dwight's lore, we don't know enough about him as a person. We know he's a bit of a coward. We know he gets scared easily, and we know he wants to take the easy way. But like, what does he like? Like maybe some of his cosmetics talk
Exactly.
about it, but you can't expect people to read cosmetic descriptions to understand a character. Like, what does he like? Does he like video games? Does he like partying? Does he like being social? I'm assuming he likes to be social. But like
Pizza and bubblegum tuna and
bubblegum
giving
tuna.
his subjects everything they ask for. Like that's
Yeah.
probably the closest we get to Dwight's mind. is
Yeah,
seeing that world where it's his fantasy or
just Dwight like
something.
being the center of attention. Like, what does Dwight like? What is his goal? Because so far, I don't really get that from his story. The only thing I get is that he wants justice for those who have been wronged, and he wants to be the one to make a change, and that he has a moral
Free
compass.
thinkers when an opportunity for justice arises and they want it.
What?
Ah,
Oh my
it's
god!
so
No
unique.
way! Holy shit! Oh,
You know
holy
what I
shit!
mean?
What? But
But
like,
I'll go back to like my questions that I had at the beginning that I jokingly said. Like we've read through all of it, and it, who is his family? Does he have siblings? Is he from Canada or the
he's
U.S.?
from America,
These
but
are
they never
lit
say he's from fucking America.
exactly right. Like we kind of get the hint that like this is some like Southern California or Northern California
Like tech
woods
bro
from
kind of
some
place.
startup. Exactly.
Yeah.
We can place him in like Silicon Valley or maybe some other big
Yeah.
city, but
Yeah.
like it's not outright said where he
Yeah.
grew up. If he was like a city boy or a farm boy or
Yeah. Did he have a
what was
good
Dwight like
relationship
as
with
a
his
kid?
parents? What
Exactly.
we know he was not really well liked in high school. He was an outcast. Is there a reason why specifically? Is it just because he's a dweeb? Is it because he keeps fucking up? Is it because his family's got bad like name or something? Like their
I
family
don't
like
want to
blew a house?
psychoanalyze, but I desperately want to know about like his mother. I want
Yeah.
to know how Dwight's mother has impacted him. You
Sigmund
know what I
Freud,
mean?
please enter the room.
But he's gay, so what would Freud have to say? You know what I mean?
I don't think Dwight is gay. It's a common like thing to be paired with David, but I don't think he is gay, or at
Oh
least
yeah,
has not been confirmed gay.
it, it,
David
it
is
was kind of like adopted in the sense that everyone was
yeah,
like,
it's
"Oh
been
my
adopted.
god, Dwight is gonna hide in the closet. He's stuck in the
Yeah,
closet. Come out
in
of
the
the closet,
closet.
Dwight." So I
Yeah,
think that's where the crux of the Dwight is gay comes from. The
yeah,
locker boy.
yeah. Because like David's gay, and he's a relationship with Dwight, so I think that's kind of like oh, gay, gay. They kiss now, obviously, but like maybe that's something that we can look into for Dwight's lore, his sexuality. Does he like girls? Does he like guys? Is he asexual, aromantic, pop pan? How does that affect him? Does
He
being
comes out to his
outcasted make him
mother, and
question his
then the same
sexuality?
time the kettle and the oven explode and the dog is
Exactly.
barking and his house
Exactly.
gets hit by a tornado, so he's always
He's like, oh dang it, oh penis, oh fuck.
no,
I need to
yeah,
go to the woods.
to the woods.
To the woods. To the woods. But yeah, I just that's my one complaint about the lore. I like how it takes a look at what he thinks is right. I like that. I like that we can understand a bit of his character, but I need more. I need to figure out his life, basically. And I know they can't do that with everyone, but when you have characters like Yui Kamura and Renato and Thalita Lyra, I'm sorry, you're getting mocked. You're getting outclassed by some of the heavy hitter survivor lores. Elodie Rakoto is not even fair. Like, we got Hydrogen Bomb Dwight versus, or no, we got Coughing Baby Dwight versus Hydrogen Bomb Elodie. Elodie's lore is so good. And fucking Dwight is there. Like, we need Dwight not to just be there. He's one of the main four. Let that bitch shine. Please. Let him do something. For the love of God. We can't just keep hearing, oh, he left another job. Does he, I don't know, have a passion? What was he studying in school? How about that?
And like
Anything.
we can still leave his like unassuming nature intact. I think we can still characterize him without saying like he's the number one cool guy. We can still keep beat down on him while
Mm-hmm.
leaving that potential. We can still leave like that space to say if things were different, he would make different choices and be a smarter pants. So we could still leave that space with new stuff. I want more.
Yeah, I want more. I want more. Because if you don't understand, listeners of yours, besides his base lore, the tome, and those three logs I read, one of them which was a joke and is actually 1 or 2 sentences long, that's it. That's all the right lore we have, besides like cosmetic descriptions being like, oh wow, he flubbed his job. And oh god, he's such a dork, he doesn't fit in at the parties. Like, no fucking duh. No duh. You keep telling us that. But I do like his lore. Again, I'm just doing this for comedy's sake. It's one flaw of his story, but it's fine. It's a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. 6, 7. But it's just we get an idea of his character, but I don't know who he is. That's my one complaint about Dwight. Who is he? Tell me more.
Yeah, right. Like I couldn't tell you any of his favorite things. I couldn't tell you his
Yeah.
likes or his dislikes. But out of a crowd of like 10,000 people, I could point to him immediately. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's Dwight.
Yeah.
I
And this
know
is
that
not
guy.
including like cosmetic descriptions where they might be going more into that, because I'm the firm believer that cosmetic descriptions should be also in the archives or in the tomes, because I think it's kind of dumb to be like, hey, this is a fun like Halloween skin where he dressed up as an elf, and it's like in his description more, Dwight lost his mother at the age of 2 and had to pick up the part-time job of a Christmas elf at the mall. Like, no, that's not fair. I'm sorry, that's not fair. But getting back to that, I feel like I don't know. I feel like they picked one shtick for him and they just committed to it. It's a little boring. Let's get something new in here. Like, how about this? Crazy take. He goes on a date and it sucks. Like, his date just absolutely fucking hates him. That would be new. I would love that. Show me Dwight being the worst boyfriend ever. Let me see it. What
I
happens?
would love that.
Yeah. You go on a date with Dwight and he's like, hey, I got you some flowers. And then you start having an allergic reaction because he got the
No,
exact plant you're
literally.
allergic to.
It's like, "Oh, actually I'm allergic to orchids. I know it's super
Yeah.
rare, but I can't receive this gift from you, Dwight Fairfield."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, that's okay."
Ooh. Or he tries to go for a kiss when you're turning your head around, so he ends up like backhead like slamming the back of your head, and you're like, ah, fuck, what the
No,
fuck,
literally.
Dwight? Yeah, so I just want to know more about him. I want to know more. He's a chud. Honestly, he's a chud, but we don't know enough about the chud. So less about him failing at his jobs and being, haha, isn't he so funny that he fucking sucks? Let me know more about him. Does he have a good family life? What are his goals? Because you can't just keep saying, oh, he wants justice for those who are wronged. That came with everyone. It came free with your fucking empathy. Like,
Yeah,
are we
right?
dead ass? But again, this is all comedy. His lore is fine. I'm not like a firm Dwight hater. I just think he can be better, and I would really
Yeah,
hope
there's
they do
nothing
that.
off-putting or offensive. Like there's nothing I would change, and this is
Yeah,
probably the best way to characterize him without going off the rails, if that makes sense. I think
yeah.
they're handling him very delicately because he's their poster boy. They think there's something special that they could
Mhm.
ruin by adding too
Yeah,
much. There's something you could definitely like argue that like if we throw too much on, he's just not himself anymore. But like
yeah,
he didn't have a self.
yeah. Maybe that will be expanded in the movie, which is one of my hopes when they actually have that movie come out in like 2028, because I think that could be an excellent avenue, in my opinion, to expand upon the 4 original survivors. Because I am of the firm opinion that because these were the first 4, they didn't get a lot of love. I feel like Claudette is fine, but she can be done so much better. Jake, I feel like, is probably tied with Meg as the best of the 4, and Dwight's at the bottom. Dwight's all the way at the bottom. Like, we have Dwight, Claudette, Meg, and Jake. Like, Dwight, Claudette, Meg, and Jake. That's my opinion. And, like, raise the bar for Dwight. I feel like he'd be done so much better, but it's also because he was kind of one of the first tomes. And I'm going to expand on this. I know Claudette was the first tome along with Trapper. However, I feel like her first tome was kind of a victim of early writing because, oh, it could have done so much better. It's not horrible, but with some concerns I have, it was not great. But we're not going to be talking about that. We'll be talking about that, though, in a future lore episode, though. So if you want to know more about Claudette Morel, please tune in for Redstone Radio for a future episode where we look into her lore. And I actually get to explain why I'm not a big fan of it, because she deserved so much better, in my opinion. But we're not getting into that. We're talking about Dwight Fairfield. Now, before we close off the episode, Stevie, and we get into our killer tier list, any final thoughts on Dwight Fairfield? Anything you want to get off your chest?
Oh wow. I I love the guy. And
Yeah,
anyone who has an affinity for Dwight out there, like I see where you're coming from. You know, he's as much as you could love as you could see in him. Like whatever you find in Dwight, you're definitely seeing from within yourself, and I think that's beautiful. I think
yeah,
that the things you pull out of Dwight and his lore and spin into this character is beautiful. I love all
Yeah.
the art, and I love how people draw him so softly, and people who
Yeah.
really get his character know how to make him like that little weak, wet man that he
Yeah.
is.
Weak wet man. Exactly.
He's
I'm a
very
big
wet.
he is a very weak wet man, yeah. I'm a big fan of Dwight, like just in general. I feel like he's just a fun character, and I feel like his lore that he has very solid. My only complaint is that he feels a bit one two note. He doesn't have a lot of complexity, and I feel like that is a fine critique to have when you have heavy hitters like, as I mentioned, LED Ricoto, Thalita, and Renato Lyra. Like they have some of the best lore in my opinion. And then you have Dwight right there, who feels like a caricature when those three characters I mentioned are characters. And like, dare I say, Fang Min, her lore went from being like a little tropey to oh my god, she just gained so much more complexity in one fucking sentence. And I think Dwight needs that. I'm not gonna spoil that because Fang Min's lore starts off like, oh, okay, she's a bit of a gamer, a bit of an outcast, haha, and then you're like, oh my god, oh my god. I'm not gonna get into it, but oh my god, her lore. If you haven't caught up with it, you feel bad for her. I love her lore. It makes her so interesting as a character. And then you have Dwight Fairfield right next to her. I'm
Oh
sorry
yeah.
for. I feel like I'm
It's
being
not
involved.
it's not right next to. That's the thing. Like, right, Dwight is kind of purposefully preserved at this one note status.
I
I
love
think
that actually. I love
I
that.
think
Keep going.
1 and 2 dimensions for Dwight is where they are keeping him. I think they
Yeah.
have been scared to push him past this. Is what I have kind of felt like I've discovered. He's supposed to remain this like blank box. I don't know. He's the cardboard packaging for Dead by Daylight.
I like that. He's the cardboard packaging. He's preserved as one now. I agree with that 100%. Not that you said that. I didn't think about it like that. Like he is the poster boy, so they don't want to fuck it up because if you fuck that up, you have Trapper. I'm sorry.
But
His
if
lore is
he's
actually
too
really good.
gay, if he's not gay enough, or if
Yeah, I actually really like Trapper lore. I just meant that more in gameplay balance where he's hot dog and everyone clowns on him for that. They don't want that for Dwight because he already gets clowned on for being Dwight. So I get
yeah,
that. But yeah, preserved. I like that. He was finally preserved. Kind of like a mummy being put into a sarcophagus. Or, I guess, like in another comparison, he's like the ashes in an urn. You don't want to fuck up with that. Do not pour the ashes into the cake.
he's the
Do not put the
ashes of
ashes in the woods.
2016 DBD.
Tony said, to the woods. Go
But
to
he
the
does have
woods.
the mummy outfit. He
He
does
does
have
have the.
the paper
Oh
towel,
my god,
toilet
we
paper mummy
predicted it.
outfit.
Oh my god, they predicted it. Oh my god, wait. Get Mummy Dwight and send him to the woods. To the woods.
Let him bumble out.
Let him bumble, exactly. Alrighty, it's time for the Red Stain Radio Killer Tier List. If you don't know, once a week we go and make a killer tier list where we look at one killer and put them somewhere on the killer tier list that we've made. And we're going to keep going till we have every single killer. And we are going to be updating this if a killer receives substantial changes. For example, if Nurse got a huge rework, we'd reorganize it. But currently, here's what we have on the Red Stain Radio's official killer tier list. In S, we have Nurse, obviously. In A, we have Hillbilly. In B, it's a little crowded with Shape, then Huntress, then Rafe, then Bubba at the bottom. Then we have C tier, which has Doctor and Hag. And finally, D tier, where we have Trapper. But before we get into our next edition, we actually have to go back to the last edition that we talked about, that being the Nightmare, aka Freddy Krueger. So if you don't know Stevie, me and Bryson had a bit of a convo where we couldn't figure out if he was at top of C or bottom of B. Bryson was firmly in the B tier, I was firmly in the C tier, and I hope you heard our thoughts before you came to this episode. Oh.
I'm gonna be honest that I'm a little disappointed. I think there should be more respect for Freddy. I think his rework really did a number, and my unfinished business, I gotta say he's at least B tier.
Okay. So with that said, Freddy Krueger, the Nightmare, is officially at the bottom of B tier, but still in B tier.
I'll hold my tongue because I wasn't here last week to debate it, but
At
least B tier.
Or maybe not the bottom. He's in B tier. We agree with that. I think he should be at the low end. Bryson said he thinks he's better than Rafe. Where do you think Freddy Krueger should be in B tier? I think
Personally,
he should be
top
at the
of
bottom.
B tier. I think he'd be better than everyone else we have there. I think
That's
Freddy's
crazy.
I think Freddy's better than Michael.
That's crazy. I disagree so much because, like, in my opinion, Freddy Krueger is just a slightly better clown, and even then, clown has to
Okay,
work so fucking hard. And
better
then
clown.
with Freddy Krueger, you can just wake up and his powers do nothing until he hurts you. But if you have the 30-second invulnerability to sleep, he's just an M1 killer. He
I
sucks. But
I'm
you're right.
curious. I'm curious because in my opinion, Freddy has things to handle Loop much better than Clown, and he
Mhm,
has a long range damaging power now that I
mhm.
think parallels something like a Huntress hatchet,
Okay.
and he's got a teleport. So
Okay.
it I personally think he's kind of a Swiss Army killer for people who know
Swiss
what they're
Army
doing.
knife. Yeah, kind of like Jack of all trades, but master of none. Okay, I am comfortable saying he's better than Rafe, but not better than Huntress. That's my
Okay.
absolute, like,
Okay.
no way, Jose. So, would that be okay? Like, right in the middle of B
But he's not
tier?
110 though.
He's not
He's
110.
115.
He's 150. So, do we agree on that? Right in the middle of B tier
Yeah.
between Rafe and Huntress?
Yes. I want him at
Amazing.
least on B tier, please.
All
Throw
right.
Freddy on there.
You've heard it here first, folks. Oh, my camera! Ah, I can't turn off my camera. Well, everyone gets to stare at my chest for a hot second. Okay, that's really bad. We're
Your
turning it
camera's
around.
off.
We're
You're good.
turning it around to the wall. I don't want people to see my chest. There we go. Amazing. Yes. Alrighty. Now we can get into the topic of the actual episode. Or not the topic of the actual episode, the topic of the actual episode's tier list. That being the third licensed chapter, or fourth, fuck. That being the fourth licensed chapter with David Tapp and, of course, Amanda Young, aka the pig. So, Stevie, I feel like this might be another controversial topic for us. On the count of three, let's say where we think the pig should be. Ready?
I'm ready.
One, two, three. C
His
tier.
seat's here.
Yeah, yeah.
I agree with you, Maddie.
Mm-hmm.
Although
I'm
in my
sorry.
hands, she's
S
a little
tier,
different.
obvious.
I'm a little
Yeah,
different with the pig, though.
yeah, yeah.
I unlock the pig. Let me tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah, let's hear it. Let's hear it. You are the pig man. You are the pig man. Tell us more.
But C tier. C tier. It's hard. It's hard. Playing the pig is it's rough for so many reasons, but it's also enjoyable. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, I've played her every single time I boot up the game. I can't get enough, partially because I love Saw, but gameplay wise, you are stuck taking every single chase you find. You are unable to do anything other than commit to a chase as Pig. You have tools. You have tools to get yourself a free hit. Starting the chase with surprise attack or ambush or a gen grab is a great way to introduce a chase, but you are not invisible. You are only undetectable and you are crouched at 100% move speed. So, like a Wraith or a Freddy or a Shape, you can't sneak up like other stealth killers. And when you're in a chase, I like to think of Pig's ambush attack like a chainsaw. If you were
Yeah.
to commit to the ambush attack at a loop, you have to curve around the long side. You have to play around the pallet. You have to fake which direction you're going. You have all these considerations, much like a hillbilly or a Bubba has to consider. How do I
Mm-hmm.
curve this loop? What window do they have? Can they break off from the loop while I'm revving my chainsaw? But you only get one damage state if you hit.
Yeah.
So you
And
could
like,
play any other killer and do one thing really well, but you could play Pig. You could play the Pit and
yeah.
get a C tier stealth mechanic. You could get a C tier anti loop mechanic, and you can get a C tier slowdown mechanic.
Yeah.
Well, I'd probably
Yes.
B tier
Love my C
slowdown.
tier. I love
I'd
C
say
tier.
I'd say with good add-ons, her head traps bring her to like B tier.
Yeah.
And by
I'm
good
glad you mentioned.
add-ons, I mean anything really. Pig's add-ons are fantastic. You can put anything on there, and it wildly changes her to a different killer. But if we're
Hmm.
talking base kit and nothing really going for her, C tier.
Yeah. I I agree with you, and I feel like her head, like her reverse bear trap. Oh my god, her reverse bear traps are fairly okay. Like they used to be kind of OP when you could lock one box and get guaranteed one kill, but I think now they're in a fine position where you have like the automatic one person has to do 5, one person has to do 4, one has to do 3, one has to do 2. So I'm glad they did that, and I'm glad that she's in that spot where she's not really abusable. But kind of like you said, everything she does, a killer does better, and then can do more than that. Like she has C tier stealth, she has C tier alternate kill method, and she's got the C tier mobility. Like what what does she even do? Question mark. Not much. And I'm the firm believer that if they want her to be stronger, they need to pick one of the 3 main things she does and just excel it. They're probably not going to do the head traps, so I'm sorry to say that. But I think they either need to make her stealth a whole lot better, or they're going to have to make her dash a whole lot better. My crackpot theory, if we're ready for crackpot theory, is this is coming out of my ass, so no evidence for this. But I would not be surprised if they stripped away Ghostface's power, where he has like the whole stalking mechanic, and put that on the pig. Like they took the whole power and put that on the pig, and then Ghostface got a new power. Because like I think the dash itself could be changed to an instant down of some kind, where the longer you're staring at them and they don't see you, the stronger the hit, where it goes up to that one hit, and she would still be like B tier. I feel like she just needs some way to engage or really profit off the stealth, because an M1 is not that great. Like with Rave, at least he can do it really fastly and consistently, and he's basically invisible to straight up invisible. But with the pig, she has to, and then she has that fucking scream, which let's talk about that scream. That scream single-handedly makes her so much worse than she really is. Because you have so much time to react versus Rafe, where he can get right in your asshole and then start doing the uncloak, and you're like, oh fuck, I fucked up. Whereas the pig, she's still visible. She's just crouching like a fucking goblin. So I agree with you, Stevie. She's definitely C tier. Question though, do we think she's better than the Doctor? Worse, but better than Hag? Or do we think she's worse than Hag? Let's be honest here.
I'd say, oh gosh, put her at the tippy top. If
I think she's worse than Doctor, but better than Hag.
Really? Yes. I think she's better than Doc. I think a Doctor could have more trouble at a loop than a pig. I think a pig's power pressures a loop better than a Doctor. Mm-hmm. And that's not anything to say about the slowdown inherent of bear traps versus madness. I think tier 3 madness is a lot easier to deal with than a bear trap.
Honestly, that's a good point. I think you'll actually sway my opinion with that, because tier 3 madness is kind of easy to deal with after a while,
right,
but like
it's
the reverse
stand stationary and hold M1.
Yeah.
But the downside is like if you don't do it, your head explodes, versus if you don't do it, you hear a terror radius until you do.
Yeah, I agree with you actually. You made a really good point. So yeah, I think Pig is firmly on the top of C tier. I'm turning the camera away so they don't look at my chest. Sorry guys. There we go.
I don't know if Bryson has any qualms with that.
I really hope, because sorry audience, you don't get to stare at my chest.
It would surprise me if Bryson thought Pig was higher than I thought Pig, is all.
Yeah, where do you I think I think he'd place Pig probably at the same place. Maybe he'd place it lower than Doctor, but I don't know. We'll have to wait.
I'd have to personally convince him to put Pig up top of C tier, but
yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe he'll come in and be like, Stevie, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong.
Maybe we get flamed this episode and everyone's like, I thought Red Stain Radio was someone I could trust, but then they put Pig above D tier?
Man, are they stupid? Are they fucking stupid?
I'm preparing myself for hate mail.
No. I feel like a lot of people
we overrated the Pig.
I feel like people are gonna say that maybe they'll be like, "Why are you placing her so high? She fucking sucks. She's ass. She's worse than the Trapper. Kill her. To the woods with her. To the woods. I keep saying that. It's not funny anymore. Anyways, that's all we have for you this week, guys. I'm getting flash blinded by my screen. Ah, it's so bright.
Girl,
oh my God.
Turn the brightness down.
There we go. I just got flashbang. That was terrifying. That is all we have for you this week, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the show. If you haven't, please remember to leave a comment on the platform that you are watching or listening to, as it really helps us reach new viewers and listeners like you. Please do it. And also, if you haven't, please join our Discord. We're actually hosting some community events and we regularly interact with our community. Speaking of events, we're actually going to be hosting a movie night kind of soon. We haven't picked the movie yet, but it's looking something like something you'll probably be a bit obsessed with. I don't know. Little
Something you
hint.
probably can't get enough of, and you'll be wishing you had
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, maybe you need to make a wish for more. Ooh! Thank you, Stevie. Thank you, listeners and viewers. We'll see you in the fog next week.